Okay, now we are ready. Let us continue now from the previous chapter, the previous class. Last week, a couple weeks ago, 2 weeks ago actually. So last week, we didn't have a class. So previously we learned about the life of the Buddha in chapter 8. Now, when the Buddha, he dwelled in the city called Rajagaha, Rajagaha city in the Magadha legend. Now, where is the first country and legend that the Buddha went to propagate the teaching? There are so many important incidents and story happen during he was teaching in this area. So let's take a short, briefly recap from the previous class.
Tata Satha Hontu Aveda Sukha Shivino Hai Satha.
Hello. Okay, please Machi Sarampat. So please mute your microphone for a second. Okay, let us review a little bit on the last chapter. Now, what is the name of the first monastery in Buddhism? Okay, did you remember the name of the temple and who is the donor who offered the first monastery in the Buddha Eon? Can anyone share with the class?
Jetavana.
Jetavana. Okay, any idea? No? Do you agree? Everybody agree? Jetavana is the first monastery in Buddhism. Okay, then who donates, who offer that the first monastery to the Buddha and to Buddhism? Okay, หลวงพี่หลวงพี่ภาวัต you know? No.
The first monastery or the donor?
Both the first monastery, the name of the first monastery, and also the donor. No? So
The first monastery is Veluvana.
Veluvana. Okay. Thank you very much, Machi Sarampat. So Jetavana is another important temple in Buddhism as well, but Jetavana is not the first monastery in Buddhism. So Jetavana, we're going to talk about that temple in the next chapter. So that's good try. And who is the donor of the first monastery? Veluvana. Veluvana is a bamboo glove, right?
Yeah, Pimpasa, King Pimpasara.
Yeah, so that is the donor, the king, named Bimbisara. It's a king who ruled the Magadha country. So remember when Prince Siddhartha, he gave up his princely life and became a an ascetic, and he went to the Makata country, and he met the Bimbisara king. And the king invited him to share the kingdom, that he will give him a half of the land to let him govern. But Prince Siddhartha, he rejects the offering. And he said that he is not looking for becoming a king or becoming a universal monarch, but he is looking for the king of Dharma. So he would be a Buddha. Then King Bimbisara asked him that, all right, so if you find the truth, if you discover the Dharma, please come and teach me at the first person. So later on, the Buddha went to the Makata country. So, but the Buddha didn't go to teach the King Bimbisara as the first person, but he went to first group of the people was the group of 5 ascetic, right? Panchavakiya. Now, when he taught them about the Dhammajagga, and later on he taught the Yasa and 30 companion, and also the Jalida. And Jalida, the school and ascetic that they worship the fire, and the Buddha convert all of those Jatila, the 3 brothers, and also their disciple. So then the Buddha went into the sea and see the king Bimbisara. Then King Bimbisara thought that he considered where to let the monk and Buddha disciple stay. Then he offered the bamboo glove. That's called Veluwana to the Buddha and his disciple. So the Veluwana temple became the first monastery in Buddhism. And the donor is the King Bimbisara. Okay, so who are the 2 ship disciples of the Buddha? So last week we talked about the 2 ship disciples who are foremost in wisdom and foremost in psychic power.
Sariputta
The
Thera
Sariputta
and Moggallana Thera.
and Moggallana Thera. So between these 2 ship disciples, who is foremost in wisdom? Okay.
Sariputta Thera is the most in wisdom.
Most in wisdom. And do you remember the formal name of the Sariputta?
Upatissa.
Upatissa. Upatissa. What about the other one? The Moggallana?
I'm not sure.
So formally, when there were lay people. Now when
Kolita ภาษา Kolita.
yes, that exactly. Kolita and Upatissa and Kolita were close friends, right? So then they became an ascetic and stay with the Sanchaya teacher. So one of the great teacher at that time. So, and they made an agreement and promised that if anyone who discovered the Dharma should tell one another. So then,
This is a question.
yes, Mishi.
Kolita is the first who discovered the Dhamma. And he went to transfer the Dhamma to Upatissa.
Oh, Upatissa, right? It's switch, right? The name. นะ
นี่โกลิตะพระโมคคัลลานะนะคะ Eh?
Kolita Mokhrana, that's
Oh,
that's correct,
okay.
Machi.
Yeah,
Upatissa is Sariputta. Their
it
former
is
name.
Mama say first is Upatissa. He met Pra Asachitera and he listened to the drama and then he got understand to be Sodapanna.
So
Then he transferred the drama to his friend Kolita.
Yes, exactly. So when they found, so when they heard the teaching, right, the Dharma from Venerable Asachi, so they both together went to the Buddha, and so asked for becoming a monk. So not very long, they both attained the arahantship, becoming arahanta. And the Buddha assigned the Sariputta as the most foremost among people in wisdom, and Moggallana become the most foremost in psychic power. So become the two chief disciples of the Lord Buddha. So Sariputta and Moggallana. And what are the two chief disciples foremost? This is the following question that's already answered. So this is some part of the last chapter in chapter 8. So let us now move on to chapter 9. Okay, chapter 9, the Buddha mission to Makata. So still in the Makata country. So this chapter will cover in four different points. So we're going to talk about the one of the most important disciple of the Lord Buddha, named Venerable Mahakassapa. Have anyone heard about the Venerable Mahakassapa? So besides Sariputta and Moggallana, so another one who played very important role in the Buddhist history, Mahakassapa. So if you take a look and study in Tipitaka, especially in the Buddhist Council, so Mahakassapa is the one who played an important role in preserving the teaching of the Lord Buddha after the Buddha passed away. And another point is we're going to dive into one of the important events in the Buddha time. That's called when the Buddha give the advice to his disciple to propagate the teaching in Buddhism. It's like collecting all the main and core teaching, and to clarify that monks have to teach in the same way, and that the Buddha talked about the Ovada Patimokkha, or the three admonitions of the Buddha. And the third point is the type of ordination. So we're going to take a look at how many type of ordination since the Buddha time. It is similar or it's different from the present day, and how when a person would want to be a monk, how can a person become in the Buddha time and now is same, still remain the same or different. Okay, we're going to take a look about the different type of ordination in the Buddha time. Yeah? And last one is we're going to talk about Sikh direction. So Sikh direction is about the story when the Buddha met a young Brahmin named Singalaka, who was paying homage to the different direction, so according to the Brahmin belief. And we're going to take a look how the Buddha re-explain the real meaning of the Sikh direction. And we're going to analyze and how the way that the Buddha teaching by redefine the meaning that what people already done at that time. Okay, so this is the all topic and the point that we're going to emphasize in this chapter. Okay, let us first go start with the story of Venerable Mahakassapa. So we in this chapter, in this elementary Dhamma study, we're not going to take a look in very details and about the background of Mahakassapa. So in intermediate level, so you are going to be studying each of these disciple of the Buddha in detail, so seeing their background and like when you go on continue study in the intermediate level, so there will be no more the story of the life of the Buddha, but it's going to be each of his disciple, so and how and what they foremost of. So Venerable Mahakassapa is another important disciple of the Buddha. So let's see how interesting about his journey of becoming a Buddhist monk. Okay, so let's take a look a little bit about his background. So the background and history of the Venerable Mahakassapa. His formal name is Bipli. Bipli, the only son of a rich Brahmin family. So later on, he got bored having a household life. He has a wife. So, and that also later on he gave up all the property and family and became an ascetic and wandered seeking for the truth and seeking for the way how to becoming Arahanta. And finally he met a Buddha, and he accepted Buddha as his teacher and practiced not very long and attained the Arahantahood. So he got married very reluctantly to please his parents, and later on went forth along with his wife, Padakapilani. So Padakapilani also another interesting the Buddha disciple who are Bhikkhuni. Bhikkhuni means the female monk in Buddhism. She also had another important role in propagating the teaching of the Buddha. She is the wife of the Bipli or Mahakassapa. So it said here he got married very reluctantly to please his parents. So Mahakassapa didn't really want to have family, but because he is very obedient to his family, that he just follow the advice, and now it's time to marry. So after he married with Padakapilani, Padakapilani also didn't want to have family. So one day both together, Bipli and Padakapilani when they sleep together, in the same bed, they didn't even touch each other, and they put the flower between. So they living together and still their parent die or pass away. And they both made an agreement that, after our parent pass away, we would go forth or become a monk. So then when all of their family passed away, they both gave up all the property and share all the property to the people, and both became a monk. So they separately go in different way. So the Pipli or Mahakassapa went to meet the Buddha, and Apata Kapilani, his wife, went to meet the Bhikkhuni, the Buddha's stepmother, who already ordained and become a monk, female monk. So, and that is some briefly background of Venerable Mahakassapa, how his background, and later on he became a Buddhist monk. And he became an Arahant soon, and observed 13 ascetic practice, or Tudonga. Ascetic practice is a kind of intensive practice. It's a kind of additional, we call training. Is kind of intensive. Tudonga throughout his monastic life. So this is what he is foremost of. So he foremost in the ascetic practice. So let's take a look about the Tudonga. Okay, so this is what the Buddha, how Mahakassapa ordained. So he ordained different from the other monk. So when the Buddha ordained for any monk, the Buddha would say, "Come, bhikkhu," ehi bhikkhu. So in Pali, so come, bhikkhu. But Mahakassapa ordained with three. We call ordained with three advice. So this is another kind of ordination that's happened only one time. It's a kind of special ordination only for Mahakassapa. So the Buddha didn't say ehi bhikkhu. The Buddha didn't say come bhikkhu, come monk, become monk. But he gave these three advice to Mahakassapa, then he became a monk. First, the Buddha said, Kassapa, you should study with all the monks respectfully. Be respectful to those who have been longing in the monkhood, those who have not been long in monkhood, and those who have just entered the monkhood. So it means that you should respect all the monks who just enter monkhood for a while, or even the monk who just enter. And the second is pay attention to wholesome teaching. Wholesome teaching, or kusala, or the good thing, the good teaching, and consider the content of those teaching. Trying to consider each content of the Dharma teaching. And the Buddha continued to advise Venerable Mahakassapa that never lose your mindfulness and keep your mind intact. Guard your mind and keep it inside your body. Make it a habit to consider the reality of your body. So this is one of the full foundation of mindfulness that the Buddha taught to the Mahakassapa. About, in Pali, it's called the Kaya Kata Sati. It's mindfulness on body. So giving these three advice, the Venerable Mahakassapa became a monk. So that is a way how the Venerable Mahakasapa ordained. Then this is about the Tudongka, Tudong, in Thai we call Tudong. And Tudong 13 is a kind of additional ways of the monastic training. It's optional. So this is not a compulsory. When a person become a monk, if you would like to practice intensively, you can follow. But if any monk don't want to, it's also fine. So, but if any monk would like to practice intensively, is going to hasten his practice. Like Mahakasapa, he is one of the great example in the Tudongka, 13 Tudongka. Okay, let's take a look each of the 13 Tudongka. What are the practice? Oh, the letter is very small. So let me see. So can everyone see clearly? Number one, can you see? Okay, I was afraid that it's too small that you cannot see. Okay, number one. So the first one of the 13, wearing patchwork robe, recycled from catch-up clothes. So this is the first Tudongka. So Venerable Mahakasapa wear this kind of robe, So the patchwork robe, and that's old, and that's recycled from the cast of cloth. And Tudongka number 2, wearing no more than 3 robes. So he wear only 3 robes. So lower robe, upper robe, and outer robe. So that's 3 pieces of robe. Going for arms. So going for arm here, do not accept the any additional invitation. So he will receive, Dijurunga receive only from alms round, So not accept any other invitation. So he will eat and accept only the offering from alms round. And number 4, not omitting any house while going for alms. So he will not like intentionally go to any particular donor, go to any particular house, just walk randomly, So didn't expect that, okay, today I will go to this house and I will go to that house. Just go with expectation of if any house offers, you will receive from that house. So this is the number 4, not omitting any house while going for alms. Number 5, eating at one sitting. So what does it mean, eating at one sitting? So it means that when a monk sits and start eating, so when he wake up, so there's no more food for him. That's we call one sitting. So you cannot eat and go to the toilet and come back and continue to eat, So after you go and doing something else, this means that's meal is finished. So that is another one of the Tudongka, eating at one sitting. Sometimes considered as one meal, It could be like once a day, 1 meal a day. And number 6, eating only from the alms bowl. So he will not use any other container except his alms bowl. So he will not eat from the like the bowl or display that people offer, but anything, whatever that's put in his alms bowl, he will eat only in his alms bowl. In baht, in Thai we call bin baht. 7, refusing all further food. So when he decided, okay, since all the food that I have now in my bowl, it's enough for today, you know. So he will eat all of that food up, and he will not accept any other additional food, you know, even though maybe he's hungry or not, but he will not accept the additional food that's from the offering. And number 8, living in the forest. So number 8, he will stay only in the forest. He will not sleep in the building. Only under the tree and the foot of the tree. So that is another Tudongka, living only in the forest. And number 8, living under a tree. So the foot of the tree. And number 10, living in the open air. So that I mentioned earlier, that's any monk who take a vow or to keep these Tudongka, he will not live sleep in the building or in the hall or in sala or pavilion, but he would sleep only in the open air. And number 11, living in a cemetery, cemetery or in the graveyard, so that is one of the Tudongka. So some monk, when they go to Tudongka, they will use the cemetery as their where to be their shelter. So sleeping in the cemetery, because it's quiet, the graveyard, not many people's around. So that's why it's good for monks who love to practice meditation, right? So, but many people are afraid, oh, scary. But it's in opposite. So for the monk, for the bhikkhu, it's very good place to practice meditation at the cemetery. Okay, so number 12, now being satisfied with any humble dwelling. So as I mentioned, satisfy whatever people offer or whatever he have. And number 13, sleeping in the sitting position without ever laying down. So this is another intensive practice. So some meditator or some monk take a vow, I will not take a laying posture. So when they practice intensive practice, so the monk will not sleep in the laying position. Sometimes they sleep in sitting posture. So it's a way to rest. So these are the 13 Tudongka, which is the Venerable Mahakassapa. He is foremost on this Tudongka. So those monks who would like to practice intensively, like Venerable Mahakassapa, so those monks will follow him. So he also have many followers. So his Motopi disciple also well known as foremost great in Tudongka. So this is another the role model for a Buddhist monk who we can apply to what the Venerable Mahakassapa he trying to train himself. even after he already attained enlightenment, he still followed these 13 Tudonga, you know. So he loved to spend most of his time in the forest, you know. And when the Buddha asked him, why you practicing, you still keep practicing the 13 Tudonga. So while you already now you already become Arahant, it's not necessary for you. But Venerable Mahakassapa answered to the Buddha that I kept doing and following these 13 Tudonga is not for myself, but to be a good role model for the new monk, you know, and for his disciple. So that's why he show, you know, not only teaching, but he being an example for the new monk. And this is another interesting point about one of the advice of the Buddha that the Buddha gives to Venerable Mahakassapa. So about the Gaya Katasati, the contemplating on the body. So this is a part of the teaching that what Gaya Katasati is. So this said by the Buddha. So Gaya Katasati is when walking, the monk discern I'm walking. So know that I'm walking. So it means knowing the walking posture. Standing, he discern I am standing. When sitting, he discern I'm sitting. When laying down, he discern I am laying down. So this is one of the contemplating on the body in the section of the posture. So a human life, we spend most of our time in this 4 posture, and that is the beginning how to practice mindfulness on body. So no, we are walking, no, we are standing, no, we are sitting, no, we are laying down. So that's what the Buddha gave to the Venerable Mahakassapa. All right, so before we moving on another topic, anyone have any question about the story of Venerable Mahakassapa or any more detail you would like to share with the class? No question? All right, so let's move on to another topic. Ovada Patimokkha. Ovada Patimokkha. So when translate into English, this is a Pali, so the Pali term. So you don't have to remember this term. Ovada. Ovada means the teaching. The master plan for propagating Buddhism. And so that is about the Ovada Patimokkha. And this situation happened in the Buddha time. So let's take a look about the another important term that's mentioned in the Ovada Patimokkha when the Buddha gave the master plan to the monk. So Ovada Patimokkha is about the Buddha laying down the plan to propagate Buddhism. And this is another important term that's often mentioned in the Ovada Patimokkha events. It's pronounced Chaturanga Sannibhata. Chaturanga Sannibhata. What does this mean? It's come from three different words together become Chaturanga Sannibhata. The first one is the Chatura, Chaturanga is come from the term Chatura. Equal four, it means four. Chatu mean four. And another one is Anga. Anga means factor. And the third term is come from like Annipada. Sannibada mean onion or gather. A gathering or onion. So when these three terms are together, mean the onion of four factor. So how it's come to be this four, the onion of four factor? Because there are four important, four molecular thing or molecular event happen on that day, at the day that the Buddha teach about the Ovada Patimokkha. What are the four? So this is what is called the situation on that day. The onion of four factor. So sometimes people call Magga Puja Day. Anyone have heard about the Magga Puja Day? It's one of the important Buddhist holiday that Buddhist people celebrate to record about the situation when the Buddha he gave out the master plan to the Buddhist monk. So this is a four thing, four important thing that happened on that day. The first thing is all the attending disciples were Arahanta. All the monks who came on that day, they all are the Arahanta who already attained enlightenment, supreme enlightenment. And the second factor, what happened on that day is all the Arahanta disciples were bhikkhus that ordained by the Buddha personally. And so all of the monks who gathered on that day came to the meeting, or the monk that the Buddha ordained by himself. And number three, and the third thing that happened is the 1,250 Arahanta disciple. The Arahanta monk came on that day. Did not make previous appointment to arrive on the same day. So they didn't have any appointment. There is no news or rumor that the Buddha will give out the Ovada Patimokkha. It's like they came and gathered on that day by chance. So it kind of how could that be that 1,250 monks came and gathered without making an appointment? So there's many people like kind of wondered how could that happen. And number four, the Buddha instruction given on that day became known as a Patimokkha instruction. Is what to summarize the teaching. So that is another factor. It's what is full moon day, and the Buddha gave the teaching. That's called Patimokkha to all the monks who gather on the Magga Puja Day. Magga, it's there's no meaning on the Magga. Magga is a name of the month. It's a name of the February, and this event happened in February, and Puja means worshiping. Is a day that people worship to the second month of the year, which is formally in Brahmanism. They also worship to the moon and to the god, to the Brahmin. So, and in Buddhism, now when this day come, then the Arahanta disciple came to gather to listen to the master plan from the Buddha. So what in detail about the teaching? in the Ovada Patimokkha, what the Buddha taught. So in Ovada Patimokkha, the Buddha mentioned about the plan and the core teaching in Buddhism. So first is, he said, abstain from all unwholesome deed. We call in Sappappa Passa Akaranang. So to abstain from all evil or bad thing. Kusala Supa Sampada, the second one, perform only good deed and to fullest extent. Sachitta Pariyothapanang. So to make mind bright and clear. Number 4 is cultivate patience and self-restraint. So he said that patience is a extremely the way to eradicate the mental defilement. Nibbana is the ultimate truth. A person who harm other cannot be called an ascetic. So a person who harm other living beings cannot be called a Buddhist monk. Sometimes translate in that way. A person who exploit other cannot be called Buddhist monk. A Buddhist monk who must never practice abuse speech or harmful speech. A Buddhist monk must never abuse anyone physically. A Buddhist monk must practice self-restraint according to Patimokkha. A Buddhist monk must exercise moderation in terms of food and consumption. A Buddhist monk must sit and lie down in a quiet place. A Buddhist monk must practice higher mental discipline. And these are the conclusion and concept what the Buddha taught on the Magha Bucha Day. So in Pali, the Buddha taught in poetry. We call poetry teaching. In Pali, one chant is very beautiful. But when we translate into English, so we'll get this meaning. All right, so this all about the Ovada Patimokkha. So when the Buddha gave out the teaching to his disciple to propagate the teaching. So this time is a time at the middle, of phase of his teaching. Start from the beginning. Now it's called Majjhima Kala. It's a middle way. It's a halfway that he from starting propagating the teaching. All right, now let us move on into the 8 different kind of ordination. So how many type of ordination? When a person becoming a monk, so how the Buddha gave out and performing a ceremony. So have you ever seen a ordination ceremony? Why on? Do you know how Buddhist monk ordain?
Not
How
really.
they prepared and what kind of chanting do they have to do?
Only see like not full one.
Not very. You not really see like
A
one
complete.
Okay, so this is some of the idea. Actually, if you how monk ordained, maybe you have to come to Thailand and observe at how people ordain and enter monkhood and they have this ceremony. And this is all the type of ordination since the Buddha time to the present day. So some of these kind of ordination already no longer used, so some of the ordination ceremony is used only one time, like Venerable Mahakassapa, so no monk are ordained like Venerable Mahakassapa. So that's why his ordination, the way that he becoming a monk is different from the other monk, So mostly the Buddha ordained the monk himself. So let's see maybe the timing, then how each type of the ordination happened. And we're going to take a look at the type. The first type of ordination is called Ehi Bhikkhu Upasambhada. So this was the first period of the propagation of Buddhism. If anyone willing, eligible to be a monk, so the first person who received this kind of ordination was who is the first person? Do you know? Who received this kind of ordination? Who is the first Buddhist monk disciple of the Lord Buddha? Anya Kodanya. So Venerable Anya Kodanya is one of the 5 ascetic, the 5 monks that the Buddha went to teach them, received this first type of ordination. It's called Ehi Bhikkhu Upasambhada. So meaning shortly mean come monk. And this is an explanation. This was the first kind of ordination. After listening to the discourse, any mature person who was convinced of Dharma could be ordained by the Buddha in this manner. Buddha stressed his right palm, like stress his right palm and say, Ehi Bhikkhu, and the man would be accepted into the order. So just that easy, so we don't have to run a lot of ceremony, So, and that's why becoming a monk in the Buddha time, especially when the Buddha ordained to someone, is just that easy. So this called the first type of ordination, Ehi Bhikkhu Upasambhada. Of course, present day, we no longer have this kind of ordination, because the only Buddha can give this kind of ordination. Okay, let's see another kind of ordination. So the second type of ordination is called Tisarana Gammana Upasambhada. So only Buddha could ordain monk through this method. This ordain is given after taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. So this is a person have to take the triple chain to be as refuge, like by chanting Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang Saranang Gacchami, Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Then the Buddha will accept that person in order. So that all these kind of ordination also can only the Buddha can give out this kind of ordination. And number 3, Natti Chattuta Kama Upasambhada is a procedure whereby the Sangha gather to hear the motion that requests acceptance into the Sangha, and then listen in silence to 3 announcements. If there is no objection as indicated by silence, the person is accepted as monk under a preceptor. So this is the type of ordination that's still practiced to the present day. Nowadays, the monk, we use this kind of ordination process to allow someone who would like to be the monk. The Sangha will have to, we call the Sangha at least 4 monks. So in in the, we call, in the city where the easily we can have monk, the Buddha lay down at least the Sangha have to be 10. In the rural area, in the rural area or remote area where it's difficult to find a monk, the Sangha have to be at least 4. And the way is the one who is going to be the monk, so the preceptor will declare, announce to the Sangha, which is they have the ceremony and which is oftentimes held in the ordination hall. So when the person announces that, oh, this person is coming to be the monk, and when everybody, every monk and the Sangha community has no objection, so it means that everyone accepts by remain silent, and that person become a monk. So in detail, so you can see this type of ordination when the person becoming a monk, that he has to answer to the question, answer to the examiner or preceptor. That's, are you human? For example, that the question that will be asked in Pali language when that person enter the ordination hall. Are you male? Are you human? So, and if all the quality, that's he has eligible to become, then the monk, the Sangha will remain silent. And the number 4, the 4th type of ordination is called Ovada Patikahana, acceptance of advice. This what the Buddha gave to the Venerable Mahakassapa. So here, the acceptance of the 3 advice given to Mahakassapa by the Buddha was sufficient for him to be admitted into the order. So there's only one type of the ordination that's happened only one time. That's when the Buddha gave to Venerable Mahakassapa. So by receiving the 3 advice, 3 advices. And number 5, the Panha Paya Karana. So entering the order by answering question. So when a person answered the question, he would be a monk. So answering question said by the Buddha was sufficient to be admitted into the order. So the example of this case, this kind of ordination is the ordination of the novice or samanera, the 7 years old boy named Sopaka. So when the Buddha questioned to the boy, the Sopaka, and Sopaka answered the question to the Buddha, and he accept into the order. So this is becoming a monk by answering the question, the Buddha. Of course, we no longer have this kind of ordination. It's only made by only the Buddha. And number 6, Atta Garudam Dhamma Patikahana, acceptance of 8 strict rules. So this is not for a bhikkhu, but this kind of ordination is for the bhikkhuni or female monk. So this method is only for Buddhist nun, Mahapajapati Gautami. Okay. Anyone know who is Mahapajapati Gautami? Mahapajapati Gautami was the Buddha's stepmother. No? So the sister of the Sri Mahamaya. No? So she the first female monk in Buddhism, the first bhikkhuni, the stepmother of the Buddha. No? So the story was that when the Buddha, when Mahapajapati, when the Buddha went back to Kapilavatthu, to the kingdom, no? So Mahapajapati would like to ordain and became his follower, but the Buddha didn't allow female to ordain at that time, you know. So she tried for 3 times, and Venerable Ananda then asked the Buddha, can woman attain supreme enlightenment? And when the Buddha considered and he found that women also are eligible to attain and set to the teaching and discover the truth, then the Buddha allowed woman to ordain as a bhikkhuni. But the Buddha gave a condition that Mahapajapati Gautami have to accept the 8 strict rule, you know. So the 8 strict rule, there's an 8 strict rule that a person is going to be a bhikkhuni have to follow. So in detail, as there are 8, the first is to respect to the monk, you know, and that's what I remember. So bhikkhuni cannot teach the monk, for example. So bhikkhuni have to pay homage to all the monk, whether he new or he's a elder monk. So and the Buddha, when he gave this strict rule and let the Ananda go back to Mahapajapati Gautami, that if she could accept this strict 8 strict rule, the Buddha would allow to become a monk. So then Mahapajapati Gautami accept that she would strictly follow the 8 rule that the Buddha laid down. So she would accept to be the first bhikkhuni, the first woman to ordain as a Buddhist monk in Buddhism. Bhikkhuni Gandhaka of Chilavaka. So you can take a look at this in detail if you would like to know how female monk ordain and become a Buddhist monk. Okay, number 7. The 7 type of the ordination is called Tena, through an emissary. So it happened once with reference to a former person, Adagasi. The Buddha empowered the monk to confer higher ordination through an emissary. This method limited only for Buddhist nun, bhikkhuni. So this also for bhikkhuni only, but through an emissary. And the last type of ordination is called Attavajika. Pronouncement of 8 times. So pronouncing 8 times. Motion and announcement are pronounced 8 times in front of both monk and nun community to accept into the order of bhikkhu nun, as this method limited only for Buddhist nun bhikkhuni. So this is another type of ordination. That's the process to becoming a monk, both male and female, bhikkhu and bhikkhuni. So this is the repeating 8 times. So the becoming a bhikkhuni, that person have to ordain from both community, from from Bhikkhu Sangha and from Bhikkhuni Sangha. So by repeating, and that's pronouncement 8 times. So that person will be a bhikkhu. So this kind of ordination only in the Buddhist nun or bhikkhuni. So these are the overall kind of the ordination in the Buddha time. So the present day is only one time or one type of ordination, and that is here. The Natti Chatutha Kamma Ubosata. It is only this they often used and performed in the higher ordination or monk ordination in the present day. So after the Buddha, he gave the power, gave the authority to, he gave more. He didn't do himself. He just let the Sangha, the community, to be the authority. So he later on let the community, the Sangha as an authority. Present day, one who want to become full ordained monk has to ordain first as Samanera. So Samanera or novice. So that is the process. So the present day, a person who becoming a monk have to ordain 2 times. So first he has to ordain as a novice, accepting the 10 rules first. Then this kind of ordination is called Samanera Papacha. And then other fulfilling necessary requirement, Ubosata, or the Ubosata or the Chatutha Kamma Ubosata, or higher ordination is given at a later time. So that means these days in Theravada tradition, so becoming a full ordained monk, he has to ordain 2 times. First to become a novice, and then we'll continue to another form of ordination that we call Upasambhada or higher ordination. Okay, from 8 different type of ordination. Now let us move into the 6th direction. The 6th direction in Singalaka Sutra. So the Buddha is still in the Magadha country. So in his propagation, he met many different group of the people and trying to spread the teaching and send his follower to propagate the teaching in different area. So when the Buddha staying at the Magadha country, he met a young Brahmin named Singalaka. So he met a Singalaka, and when Singalaka was performing a ceremony, so he made himself wet, so and paying homage to the different direction. So totally the cardinal direction to the east, to the north, to the west, to the south, and above and below. So totally 6 different direction. And the Buddha asked him, so what was you doing? And Singalaka answered the Buddha that my father, before he passed away, he ordered me to worship to the 6 different direction, to worship to the God. And so my life will be good, will be successful, But he doesn't know what he doing really mean. And the Buddha gave an explanation that is not such a meaning. So let me tell you the real meaning of the 6 different direction. And the Buddha take that opportunity to teach him about the real meaning of this worshiping and paying homage to the 6 different direction. Yeah? So in the 6 different direction, in this sutra, the Buddha trying to he talked about teaching the Singalaka about the different group of the people that we association in our society, you know. So in our life, we have to associate with many different group of the people, you know, especially as a householder. So this is another teaching that the Buddha directly trying to teach the householder, so lay people, not really to the monk, you know, because he trying to explain that how a person should treat or behave the different people and that he has to associate with in the community. And the first direction is the east, the direction in front of us. So direction in front of us. It represents our parents, our mom and our dad, for example, our parent. And the second direction is the west. So the west is behind us. So behind, and it is in represent our children. Our children, our son or daughter and spouse, wife and husband. The third direction is the direction below. So include our subordinate and servant. So who under our order. So if anyone who have follower or a person who working for, so that's the Buddha mentioned about the direction below. And number 4 is the south, is to our right, the right direction, on the right. That represent our teacher. So what we should associate with our teacher. And number 5 is the north. The north is to our left, and that includes our friend, our companies, our college. Number 6, the direction above us. Represent righteous, righteous monk and ascetic. So this is the 6 different meaning that the Buddha redefine. So explain to Singalaka that this is the real meaning of the paying homage to the different direction. So in detail, so this is about the direction in the front. That's our parents, our mom, our dad, and who take care of us. So there are the 5 things. Sorry, there's a 5 things that one must do for them. So this one, what's parent in front of one parents, and there are 5 things. So what we should treat our parent, and the Buddha said it's 1, to take good care of them, and to look after them, do their work for them. So help them working, so they have business. Perpetuate the family good name, trying to keep a good reputation in the family by not doing anything that's going to cause any bad reputation to the family name. And number 4 is conduct oneself in such a way as to be worthy of family fortune. So that relates to the item number 3. And 5, make merit and dedicate it to them after they die. So that is a way to show the gratitude, even when they pass away. So like in Thai, in Buddhist culture, the people will come to the monk and make an offering, and they will dedicate and let the monk transfer merit to those people who pass away. So that is to show the gratitude, and this is what one should treat, and do for their parents. And this is the front direction. Okay, and in turn, now what's the 5 things that parents must do for their children? So this is what parents should do for their son and daughter. So parents should prohibit them from committing evil deeds. So forbid them not to do evil thing. And parents should encourage them to perform good deeds. So like in the early morning when I was younger, so my mom and my grandfather trying to, how to say, convince me to give monk food. So that is another way how they're following the teaching by encouraging the children to do good things. Number 3, give them a good education. So parents should provide a good education that can help develop their skill and develop their knowledge. So that's the way showing love. That's giving wisdom and skill for their future life. And number 4 is find a good life partner for them. So Buddha said that when they grow up, find a suitable partner for them. And number 5 is let them inherit the family fortune when the time is right. So give the property, or when they grow up, and sure that they have responsibility to take good care of the family. And so the parent should let them inherit the family fortune when time is right. Okay, so this is the relationship between parents and their children. And this is a concept as a front direction. And the right direction, one's teacher and student, and the right, on the right side, teacher and student. So what student should treat to his teacher? So first is get up to welcome them. And 2 is wait on them. Be obedient to them. To attentively attend to them is like attentively study. Attentively study and study with respect. Learn from them with respect. So this is how a student should treat and associate with the teacher. And this is what the teacher must do for his student. So the teacher must give them a good advice. The teacher to teach them a good thing, teach them everything he knows, and praise them in front of others, and protect them from harm. So this is how the teacher do for the student. Direction behind is the direction between a wife and husband. So what a husband should do or must do for his wife. So he he must honor her, so he do not insult her, and he do not commit adultery, and he give her authority over the household, and he give her clothes and jewelry. So this is what a husband should do for his wife. In return, what a wife must do for her husband. So she must be a good housewife. She treat the household stuff well. She do not commit adultery. She keep the husband's material well safe, and she must be hardworking. So this is what the Buddha mentioned in direction behind wife and husband. The next direction is the direction on the left. It's the relationship between friends. So a friend must be generous. So friend practice endearing speech. It's kind words. Help them with their errands. So be consistent and be sincere. And these are 5 things that a friend does in return. Keep him safe when he is reckless. So a good friend we call a real friend. But keep him safe when he is reckless. So a good friend, a true friend, have to be brave, to remind his friend. So if his friend is in danger or will be in trouble, he will not afraid to forbid him from doing such a bad deed. And number 2, safeguards his possession. So a true friend will protect so his friend possession. And number 3, so a true friend must be there for him in time of trouble. So when indeed a true friend will come, whatever that he could help, he will not make an excuse. So that is a true friend. And 4 is true friend must be there for him in the face of danger. Even in danger, a person or friend who really love will come even the time of danger. And number 5, respect his relative. He will not only love his friend, but all of his family. Respect all of his family. And so this is what between relationship with friend. And the direction below is one subordinate boss and a worker. We can say that boss and worker. So number 1, assign them suitable work. Give them food and pay them for their work. Provide medical care for them when they are sick. And so this is what the boss should do for his worker or servant. Give them exotic testing food, and the food that is rare to find. Number 5, give them some time off. So give them some time to take a rest. So this is what a boss should do for the work his servant. And what's the subordinate must do for his boss. So he should start work early. It's like come at work. So the subordinate should come before his boss. For example, stop working late. So just like when his boss stop working, he will stay late until his boss stop. And number 3, do not steal. So taking something that is not given. So subordinate should not just get what his boss give him. Work conscientiously, continuously. And number 5, sing the boss praise to the other. So but what happened to today, so most of the subordinate blame, right? Blame as their own boss, oh, my boss gave a lot of work to me. So that is not about keeping the side of boss that press to other. So this is how subordinate and boss keep a good relationship, So because Buddha talking about this 6 direction in order to how can we create a good relationship in different groups of people in our life, So Buddha taught a lot about the people and how we live together in the society. And the next direction is the direction above, is righteous monk and ascetic. And what lay people and monk relationship, having relationship of five things that's this is what monk or ascetic treat lay people. So monk should treat them with loving kindness. So monks must speak to them with loving kindness. Monk must think of them with loving kindness. So I have to go with loving kindness, metta, metta, or welcome them into. This is what lay people should treat the monk, and welcome them into your home, and offer them alms, offer the offering. So this is what lay people must do for the monk and for the ascetic. In return, what's a monk must do for the people who their supporter. So monk should prohibit the lady to perform evil deed, and to show the way that's how bad deeds, how evil deed leading to suffering. So second is to encourage people to perform wholesome deed, avoiding unwholesome and do wholesome deed. Number 3, help them with kindness. So with giving advice or help people with kindness. And number 4, monk must teach them what they have not heard before. So tell people what they haven't heard, because monk have time to learn and study. So people may not have time to come and study the Dharma. So it's a monk duty to share, to share the wisdom, to share the teaching of the Lord Buddha, for example. So and that is what the monk should do for the lay people. And number 5 is explain what they have already heard. So if they don't understand, some teaching are difficult to understand, again, it's some monk's duty. They have to explain, clarify, and detail the teaching that is very profound. And number 6, teach them the way to the celestial realm and show the way to reborn in a good place. So give an advice and how to make merits, and what is a wholesome way and leading to reborn in the heavenly realm or celestial realm. And this is the relationship between people, lay people, and monk, and direction above. Direction above. All right, so we have covered all the topic today for chapter 9. So next week we will continue chapter 10. There are only four chapter left. Next week, chapter 10, and we have only 13 chapter. All right, so before we finish the class, okay, now it's time for Q&A. Then anyone have any question for the lesson today? Okay, Sinkalaka. So what do you think about this Sinkalaka? So this sutra, you can read the story in detail. So you can Google say Sinkalaka Sutra. So you see one Sinkalaka, he performing paying homage to the direction, and the Buddha gave out the meaning of a different direction. Okay, so this means that the Buddha do not focus teaching only to the monk. You see here, he also gave the advice, and teaching to the lay people as well. So cover all the group of the people that we have to associate with in the society.
Venerable,
Yes, Mechi.
Sopaka, the 7-year-old boy that Buddha ordained, Sopaka, ใช่ไหมคะ? Is it?
Sopaka.
Sopaka. He's ordained to be a samanera or a monk.
A samanera, that is a kind of becoming Sopaka, he ordaining to be a novice.
A novice. So that is only the only one case in the Buddhist.
That's correct. There's only one case, and when the Buddha gave this type of ordination.
And how about another novice who ordained?
The rest, the other novice, they just ordain normally, So it's a Trisaranakam. You know,
Okay, Lewata, the brother of Pasariput, also Tisarana.
The brother. Yes, or what I have heard, there's only for the novice. This is a kind of the only case and special case, For the rest, or becoming samanera, the samanera have to receive, we call taking the Triple Gem Air reviews, and now take a vow to accept the 10 precepts. So then that Gula Buddha, the boy will become a novice. So we call this Saranakom, Trisaranakom, becoming a novice.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so if no question, so this is about some point that we're going to be studying next lesson, the following week. Chapter 10, it will be the journey to Kapilavatthu. So now the Buddha, he went back to his city, in order to praise his relative. So we're going to learn about how he what did he do staying in the Kapilavatthu kingdom, and how he teach his relative and in chapter 11 the journey to Kosala kingdom. So this is going to be maybe the weeks after. We're going to talk about the Anabindika. So another important lay Buddhist disciple. That's the supporter, Buddhist supporter, who millionaire who donates one of the important Buddhist monastery in Buddhism. That's Venerable. I'm not sure what said about mentioned about the Jetavana monastery. So that is another important monastery that we donate by the Ananda Bindika. So we're going to take a look how important this monastery and how it relates to the history of the Buddha. All right, so I think it's time now. So let us okay, let's call it a day. So let us now pay homage to the Triple Gem, and we'll continue the chapter 10 next week. So if you have time, you can take a look and read the book in advance, and we come and learn together again. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhaṃ Bhagavantaṃ Abhivādhami Sawakhato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅkho Saṅghang Namami.
Thank you,
See you
Lumpy.
everyone. Take care.
Thank you, Lumpy. Take care.
Thank you.